Hey, and we are live, and yay, we have Nancy back. So I want to say just really quick to anyone watching playback, and as people are coming in the chat, thank you so much for the last 2 weeks of sending, Nancy healing energy and support. I was worried about my mama, and you all came through for
Yeah.
her and helped her get through this, along with David and taking care of her and whatnot. But thank you everybody for helping my
It was
mama get back on
wonderful.
her feet.
It was just wonderful. You know, I could feel it. I mean, there were so many people that were holding space for me. I really, really appreciate it. We have such a wonderful community. We
We
really do.
do. And the first one here, Megas. Love
Yeah.
you, Megas. Oh, and he said I started. Oh, I was going to say another channel. I started an all new tarot channel. Ooh, Megas, you got to make sure you put that, or one of my mods put that link in, in chat during the show if you can, so we can all subscribe to Megas's new channel. And yes, we love you, Megas.
Yes.
And we have Scott here saying hello. Hello, Scott. And
God.
I know we
Yeah.
saw Miss Moira popped in. Hello, Moira. And let's see, everyone's saying hi to Nancy. Love you more. And oh, we have Selena. Selena, look who's
Yes.
back.
Hey, Selena.
Feeling a little tired, but she's here. So
Hmm.
yay. Hope you're doing well too, my dear. And I know you got my message on WhatsApp. For it's about goddess. So we had to do. I took a workshop this weekend. Everybody, I had to do with astrology and folklore alchemy, and we did a little meditation ritual last night. And we welcomed in the moon, the goddess as Selene. And the minute she said Selene, it was just like boom, there was beautiful Selena right there, in my mind. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be so cool because it's like I'm going to be able to, honor, her namesake and think of Selena. And so it was a beautiful little private ritual that we all did together. And
Yeah.
I automatically thought of Celine, essence of the moon. So let's see. We have Sandy Black. Hello, Sandy. How are you, sir? Yes,
I just wanted to
lovely.
show Selena something that I got
Ooh,
from an Etsy shop. Did have you gotten one yet, Selena?
ooh, very nice. Let's see. I know
Yeah.
Irene is here. I know Irene, you popped in, my dear. There you are. Hello. Um, let's see. Yes, she is feeling better.
Yes.
Yes, Celine is beautiful, and so are you, my dear. Mwah. Let's see. And who let this guy in? Come on, where are my mods? No, just kidding. Hi, Roman. How are
Hey,
you?
Roman.
Roman Gold Moon XY. And Celine says, ooh, I have not yet. From Ramon, he said he's still gathering items for me. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That must be nice. So, and Roman, my brother, yeah, we had a great time on Friday with Kristen Louise, Roman and I. Oh my God, that was must have been one of my favorite Friday nights. It was a blast. So everybody who was hanging out with us, thank you. It was a good time. So I don't think I left anything out. Yes, Megas. Oh, Irene, could you or one of my mods put that link in the chat for me for Megas's new channel? Oh, I'll put in there you go. Awesome. Megas and Muse Tarot. Megas, is this what like your fourth channel? Because I know you have a couple for your discussions on Asha and your manga, and you got your
Mhm.
book club. So I wonder how many channels this are now. He's very creative. I sure will. Well, thank you, my dear. And Nancy, I have 3 packages floating around the stratosphere today.
Yes, Roman, it's one stop away, and I told Heather I have to run and get it when it gets here. I can't wait. I've waited all day, and I'm usually a very patient person, but I want it in my hot little hands.
Hands and Sandy. Ooh, I'm charging an obsidian crystal. Ooh, nice. I want to get me an obsidian sphere.
Hello,
Oh my
gorgeous.
goodness! The queen herself is here. Miss Taro D, I'm not used to seeing you here on Mondays. Hello. Listen to me. If people want to know why I'm so weird today, I had an amazing weekend and I'm still riding high on this amazing energy. I'm starting to finally find my tribe here, made some wonderful connections. And so I'm just all giddy, tired, but giddy. And I'm so happy everybody's here. Hello, Miss Taro D. Yes, Madrina is here, our godmother, our fairy godmother. So, alrighty. So we didn't really have. Nancy had a great idea. Nancy, why don't you share what your idea was for today?
Well,
So
I told Heather, I said, why don't you choose a topic and I'll choose a topic and not tell each other what it is. So
mine turned out to be a little interesting, but I'm going to let Nancy, because I'm really interested. It's interesting how ours, I'll just let.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
take it away, Miss Nancy. Take it away.
Okay. What I thought, there are these words that we sort of, bandy about, if that's the right way to explain it. And one of them is the sacred feminine, and the other one is the inner child. And I was thinking about the sacred feminine and the inner child. And of course, we all have the sacred feminine in us, women and men. And we all have the sacred masculine in us, women and men. The sacred masculine is like more analytical. There's a mission to do, and this is what we need to do, and we're going to plan it out, and this is how we're going to do it, because we need to have that aspect within us. The sacred feminine is more of a kind of touchy-feely kind of experience. The qualities of the sacred feminine are compassion and intuition and receptivity. The sacred feminine has always been very, very powerful, but for a long time it's taken a back seat. And it's just sort of, in the last few decades, it started to come back forward. But it used to be, eons ago, that the sacred feminine was just so very, very powerful. Everything revolved around it. Mm-hmm. And so what I was thinking about was, the inner child is memories. Where did she
I'm
go?
here.
Memories and emotion. And, we all have a brain. Sometimes I don't act like I do, but we all have a brain. And when you think about it, we have a right brain and we have a left brain. But our brain stores away all of our memories. Now, there are very early memories that we can't remember. Some people can remember things when they're 2 and 3 years old, but usually people don't start to have a memory that they can call, like into the focus of their mind where they can see it until they're around 4. And maybe some people it's later than that. I don't know. But all of these memories, even though we can't remember them, they're up there. And that's why, sometimes you'll just be, sitting, I don't know, eating an apple or something, and all of a sudden this memory comes back, in your mind. And I mean, it's like you can see it, you can almost touch it and feel it. And it is something from way back when that you had totally forgotten, but it's stored there. And I think a lot of times, when my father lived to be 87, and towards the end of his life, he had all of these childhood memories that he had forgotten that were resurfacing. And many of them were not happy. He did not have a real happy childhood. But and he pondered them, and he tried to work through them, And of course, he didn't have the tools. He died in 1996, and the internet was not a huge thing back then. I mean, it was just, we were just getting computers and things like that. But anyhow, so we have all of these memories in our brain, and the concept of the sacred feminine and the inner child are deeply entwined. Okay. And the sacred feminine provides authentic and radiant and vulnerability for the inner child. And the inner child, what the inner child needs is nurturing, unconditional love and safety. Now, many of us as children did not have that, and there are a lot of things that we can't remember early on, but then there are things that we can remember. And there are some maybe horrible things that we don't remember because we put them away. They were too painful for us to remember. They were too painful for us to recall. And they've been gone for so long that a lot of those memories are just like in a little pod somewhere that's just sitting there, that you're not really aware of what this was. But the important thing is in order for us to be whole, we have to heal that inner child. And the sacred feminine helps with that. But it's not easy because it's painful. And like I said, a lot of it we don't remember. But what the sacred feminine does in many ways is it creates a village within us for that inner child to heal. But it doesn't just show up. You have to make that village. Now, we all have an inner child, and we all have an authentic self. And our authentic self, our higher self, has watched all of this, And this is a part of us that is so wise, but very often we don't tap into. And what is important with the inner child is to maintain a childlike sense of wonder and openness. And when we allow the sacred feminine to provide love and acceptance for the wounded and neglected parts of the inner child, a person can begin to develop a deeper sense of self-worth and value. Because with the negative things that happen, something happens to our self-worth and our dignity. And it's like we build up an armor to protect ourselves because it's too painful to go there. But one of the processes is to soften that armor, because if you don't, you're never going to get to the part where you can actually heal your inner child. And the inner child remembers what unconditional love is. Now, many people who have really damaged inner an inner child, maybe cannot recall that unconditional love in this lifetime, but there has been unconditional love to this soul before it was born. And there is unconditional love from the higher self, when the higher self allows itself to open up and let that armor soften so that it can embrace the inner child. And also, it fosters, when you can do this, it fosters better relationships with the people that are close to you and to yourself. So what it all comes down to is inner work. And the word is work. It's not easy. It's very hard and it's painful. But what you want to return to is something that the damaged inner child has not really experienced. Playfulness, joy, and wonderment, and belief in the magical. Now, on a certain level, we can do this. We can be silly. We can see something and we can laugh at it just on our own. I'm not talking around other people, but I mean, I watched my grandson look at a tulip for the first time. I have a picture of him, and he bent over and he was just looking at all the different colors and everything. And he was filled with such wonder. I am filled with wonder when I look at a dandelion, the yellow dandelion, and I return to childlike wonder whenever I possibly can, because it nurtures us, and our inner child has an internal connection of all our lived moments in childhood, every one of them. And they're just sitting there. And it needs the reassurance of unconditional love. There are 3 levels of healing: the spoken word, the written word, and visualization. And what I wanted to do today was just to talk about this, because I know that a lot of people, have got a lot of pain that is trapping their inner child. And if you had, I mean, I don't even have to mention, some of the horrible things that can happen to a child. We know it. We don't have to talk about it. But if you can't get to a point where you can return to joy and playfulness and allow that to just be in the past, it's won. It's won. I mean, you couldn't let it go, and it's ruining what you could have. And that was my message for today. I don't mean to be heavy, but I think that it's very, very important. And as parents and grandparents, your younger children, it is to encourage the playfulness and the wonder and the silliness, and make happy memories for your children and grandchildren, and your friends' children. Let them be a part of your life, and let them see you experience joy, and experience joy that you have with them being part of your life. Because that's my son with the Halloween stuff that he does. He's trying to make positive memories for children, because a lot of children that go trick-or-treating, they're dressed up in costumes and they're having a wonderful time, but they're going back to a home that is not stable. Maybe it's not safe, but for that one night, there's joy. you know. And I think that this is something that's very important that all of us need to think about. And you know, look out for our inner child, love our inner child, and you know, continue making good memories. That's what I have.
Well, you've been having quite the response, so I'm going to start all the way at the top.
Okay.
Well, Jackie Jan has joined us, so hello, Miss Jackie. And Moira started with rebirthing is a great experience for remembering the feelings we experienced even before birth.
Mm-hmm.
And Miss Tarot D said, I love that, Nancy. You're talking about, oh, I was trying to keep an eye on chat, but it was in the beginning. We're talking about creating that village
Uh-huh.
within ourselves, you know, for our inner child. And Miss Tarot D said, I love that. Megan says,
Mm-hmm.
beautiful, Nancy. And Miss Tarot D also said, it creates a village within ourselves to heal. Yes. And let's say that again. So powerful. And then Shay also joined us. Hello, Shay. And Roman says that Rochelle has come out with a inner child deck
Ooh.
called the Wicked Inner Child. So if
Mm-hmm.
anyone's doing inner child work, that might be something to check out.
I
Um,
have I have two inner child decks. I wanted to I've got them out today, but you know, for anybody that is maybe you don't have decks, but there's the Inner Child Oracle by Amanda Lynn Asling, and there is the let's see, Healing the Inner Child Oracle by Nina Mongendre. And a deck that I absolutely love is the Soul Mirror Oracle. And this addresses deep trauma, you know.
Beautiful artwork.
And are you ready to remember who you are, who we are? Our world is our soul mirror. And they're just amazing, amazing images in this deck that really, really you know, speak to the condition of healing. And I was looking for one in particular that, well, you know, when you look, okay, this one, barbed wire. And like I said, you know, it's not easy. You know, those hands are over the eyes. You don't want to remember, you don't want to see, you know. But so
Mhm.
that's what I would recommend if somebody wants to do some deep work, you know.
All
And
righty.
automatic writing will help with that too,
Which
you know.
a lot I did with today. So sometimes you don't even realize you're doing automatic writing. When we
Mm-hmm.
get a right, when we get an idea for a poem, or something we want to start journaling, and then we start getting other thoughts and ideas and things coming through. That is a form of automatic writing. We're connecting with the higher selves and also allowing that wisdom from our guides and our ancestors to come through.
Mm-hmm.
Irene said, I found that as I got older, I made peace with the horrible things my sister did to me all of my childhood. Really nasty stuff when I was
Mm-hmm.
preschool. But with mom dying and my sister destroying me financially, it's all come back. So she's
Mm-hmm.
working on that as well. Well, thank you for sharing that with us,
Yes.
Irene. I know it's not easy to be able to share things like that in chat.
Yeah, it's hard.
Um,
Hard.
and Moira also said, I think it helps to remember that those who hurt us were fighting their own inner demons and struggles. Yes, Moira, and that's something that I
That's right.
touched upon.
It's like a cycle, you know, that you know, sometimes it's broken and then other times it's not. But you know, like I said, it isn't easy. It's work. But I would think, I would say that it's very important work, very, very important work.
And she says it really speaks to me, Nancy. Perfect timing for her. So,
Mm.
and Selena says she also has that deck that Roman was mentioning. She goes, it's very good. And
Oh,
we
which one
have
was that?
the one that Rochelle mentioned, did,
Oh,
that you
yeah,
mentioned,
and
the wicked inner child.
yeah, yeah, and also I'm trying to think. Irene said the Faces of Ocean is the deck.
Oshun.
Oshun. Yep, I mispronounce everything. Uh, but
And let's
anyway.
see, Gold Moon says, well, Roman says, wow, no wonder we love Nancy. Feel blessed.
Well,
Yes, we
thank
all
you.
love Nancy. And Mega
And Nancy
says,
just loves everybody right back.
well, this is beautiful surprise today. Thank you, Nancy, for shining your light so bright.
Aw,
Powerful
you.
words. Love you. Um, and Jack said, that's why I liked school so much too. It was safe there before having to, talk about Halloween and having to, that was their time before having to go back to an unstable home. And Jax agrees. She goes, that's why she likes school. For me, it was reversed, in many ways. I couldn't wait to get home. That was my refuge. But
Yeah,
it's different how we each experience trauma and how we need to, heal and nurture that inner child. And again, Miss Tarot D, beautiful Nancy, it takes a village within ourselves to heal.
yeah.
And it's hard work. NGL. I'm like, Jax likes acronyms, so I'm sure she'll. But it's hard work healing the inner child, but it's very much worth it. And it could be a very lifelong process too. It's something that we don't have to rush to do, or we feel stressed or overwhelmed to do it. Sometimes I do it and it comes back and I have to revisit. So there are times when, it'll be a life process, but it's
Mm-hmm.
something that we can draw strength from every time we go to heal or connect with that wounded part of ourselves.
And
Shows.
also there are incidences where you need a health professional to help you. You know
Hmm. And be
that
afraid of
some
asking.
of this is so deep that you know it would be hard to address it on your own because it's so hard. But
My inner child is healed. My inner teen is up, and Her Majesty requests a sword. I love Jack.
oh, I love it. I
Oh
love it.
my God, Jax, you got to do a deck. And Celine says Rochelle's sister Carla made the deck. Okay, thank you, Selena, for verifying that. Um, let's see. Funny how the crone and winter naturally brings us to the inner child. That was kind of where, for the winter and with the crone, where I was kind of coming from. Um, let's see. Oh, Miss Tarot D says I did an inner child spread on my channel if anyone is interested. So yes, if anybody in chat who has not
I
subscribed to Miss
love
Tarot
that.
D,
Yeah.
and if you
Oh,
haven't, what the hell are y'all waiting for?
I tell you
But
what. I tell you what. Miss Tarot D makes things, and she sits at her kitchen table and she makes them. And when I watch them, I watch them more than once. Like the Florida water one. When I watch it, I pretend that I'm sitting across the table right in her kitchen, and I'm
mhm.
watching her do this, and she's talking just to me,
Yeah, and that's how
and
she
I love
makes you
it.
feel
I
that you're
love it.
one
I
on
love
one
it.
with her. So be sure to check out that spread. And if you haven't subscribed, let's get Miss Tarot D her goal, her desire to reach 1,000 by New Year's. So let's help her get as close to that, if not breaking that goal as much as possible. So let's see. And there, oh, so she put that in her Faces of Oshun. Thank you, my dear. Healing the inner child. Da, da, da. There's the link, Selena. Okay, just jumping. Everyone's putting in links now and everything. Not gonna lie. Oh, not gonna lie. There we go. Thank you, Moira. I gotta create a little journal with all of the acronyms now. She'll have to. Jax will have to teach me what they all are. So she's putting our links up for private readings with you and I. Thank you, my dear. Miss Tarot Dees is there too. Pretend to, Nancy, like I'm sitting there at the other side of her table. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that.
We're just all
And
gathered.
mm-hmm. I thank you, and my inner child thanks you.
Aw.
So, with everything going on with me this weekend with that workshop, I was kind of like, really, what am I going to bring to the show today? I'm like, yeah, we know we're in. For me, again, like I was explaining to our teachers this weekend, this is the season where I feel most connected to spirit, and where I feel like messages come maybe a little stronger, or I need to expand or explore or be more open. It's that whole cauldron of bubbly goodness, that we're kind of like that Seven of Cups, where it's like, oh, there's a little bit there, it's a little bit there.
Mm.
And I was thinking about, because we were talking also not just astrology and how it connects as deities in our lives, and how we can use the astrology to help us with our lives. But we were also connecting with the divine feminine was being mentioned as well, connecting with her. And Selena, I got to drink my first cup of mugwort tea, and boy, she's got some bite to her. But it was such, and I couldn't believe it. I'm like, the goddess that she's calling forth is Selene, and of course Selena loves mugwort. She grows it on her property, and they're offering us mugwort. I'm like, wow, this was such a strong message. And so I started connecting again and feeling with the triple goddess. Um, Mugwort is a bite. Nope, it was straight up. It was straight up. And so I started thinking about this time of year being considered, because I have a statue. That's why I took my camera off to get up and get it. And it's got wax on it because it's I've had it for quite some time. It was a gift from Shannon, Arizona. But I have this beautiful triple goddess resin candle holder, and it has the phases of the triple goddess. We have the maiden, and then we move into the full belly of the mother,
Oh,
and then we
I
move
love that.
into the crone. And so at this time of year, not just looking at the crone in a physical, as a physical vessel, but um, as an energy. I mean, we all move through her phases in our lives.
Mm.
We are moments when we're young, where we have moments where that's very wisdom. It's very crone like. Like one of my teachers this weekend, he is like, I think 26 years old, and he has, I can't tell you how much he has studied and how much knowledge and understanding. I mean, it's so it shows that it doesn't matter what age you are, you can embody, these different phases of the divine feminine and the divine masculine as well. um, and with this time of year, moving in from the goddess of harvest and abundance. We're going into the winter now. And the concept of crone, I know me age wise is considered crone, but yet I am not there yet. And I know that there will be a point now in my life where I will be fully physically embrace, not physically embracing, but I will be able to, on all levels within my being, able to embrace it, including physically. But going in, I was looking up articles to kind of get a feel, and there are a lot of winter goddesses. And moving forward, there's going to be certain Mondays, because I'm going to go ahead and announce it now, Miss Nancy, if that's okay.
Okay.
Nancy's going to be wanting to take a step back for the winter so she can study and learn and communicate more with her guides, with herself. And so there are going to be shows where I'll be going solo, but I'm going to be looking at some of these goddesses from the cultures. Women in this workshop this weekend were Ukraine. I got to have true Ukraine, meal this weekend. I got to meet women who were Slavic, and then I could connect a little bit, learn a little about my ancestors I didn't know I had. So there's just so many different cultures and beliefs, but yet we all come again from the same understanding. We're the beginning. And so I'm not gonna go off too much on that. And I think I did see, I'm just gonna say hello really quick, because Garnet, I was telling somebody about you. Heather blooming among the wild mountain thyme. Hello, mwah, my dear. It's good to see you. And of course, Nancy, my darling. So I wanted to pop that in with that. So Miss Tarot D, I moved past Crone to the new level, old bitch. Or hey. But no, there were a lot of goddesses associated with this period. Of course, because I'm more connected to the Celtic, it's the Cailleach, or the Cailleach. There's, I've heard her name pronounced different ways, but the best that I can do is the Cailleach. We also have Changing Woman. She's Navajo, and she changes through all of the seasons. So she's constantly embodying all the aspects of the feminine in her, in the seasons, and in her energy and in her being. Slavic Marzana. Of course, we have Hecate, we have Baba Yaga, we have the Morrigan. So I was reading this article and I was jotting down notes, but then I was starting to notice other things were coming through. So if everyone could just bear with me, some of it's a little poetic, but it's like I said, this weekend really started opening things up for me, and so this is what I was able to get, because even though, like I said, again, I'm not considering myself a crone yet, we're all moving into that energy of this season and what she can teach us and what she can bring, forth from us. So the transition between the warm summer fall months is from mother to crone. Whether or not we're physically in the crone years ourselves, we walk with her during this transformation and at the crossroads of seasons. And at that threshold, she lights our lantern from her maternal flame so we can follow the light that is within us as we descend into the darkness of winter, within the velvety darkness of ourselves, our sight through the heart and soul's eyes, both bright and dim, whispering truth among the illusions of youth, sitting in silent validations, crone stark clarity, yet the heart still pulses under the waning moon. A quiet questioning, turning inwards, the mirror reflects to us like a candle flame or moon in deep dark waters. Who am I? In between the liminal space of veils where we gather element of who we are, were, and prepare to be. We honor these, we honor them, absorb them into our energetic psyche or soul. Shed no longer what is useful to make room within our hollowed space for wisdom, healing, standing in our own power as the seasons of our lives change. We sit with Baba Yaga with her bones, taking psychic flight within the Morrigan's raven feathers, and joining the mystical hunt with Hecate's hounds. This new moon, we channel the crone, withstanding other manipulations, her tongue speaking riddles and spells only we deeply understand. And through Sheila Nagig's womb, rebirthed into an age that is cycles living from a place of radical acceptance and authenticity. And that's where I had to stop because I had to go backstage to make Nancy for the show. So this is all kind of what came out with bits and pieces from that article, and then it just kind of, filling itself. And so um, us just embracing the energy of the crone and how we can tap into our own inner crone no matter what age we are, and also knowing that we can connect to our ancestors and to people in our lives who are like Nancy. She's crone age, so there's wisdom that we get from her, and then there's wisdom that we can find within ourselves or from our ancestors, um, and not putting that limit on age of, who can be what, who says you can't, be, youthful when you're a crone, who says you can't be a crone when you're youthful, you know what I mean? It's again just tapping into that element, that energy. So that's what I brought, wanted to bring to the show today. connecting to moving in from, and with us here in the Pacific Northwest now, our falls are a lot longer. So we have a longer fall season than winter. So it's allowing me to kind of expand more and explore more, um, before going into the winter and giving, again, that time, that stillness, that liminal quiet veil stillness of being able to, tap into that. And, so that's what I have. So thank you for letting me
Yeah,
um,
I
share
love that,
that.
Heather. And I love how you mentioned all the different goddesses, and that aspect of them. I love that. Yeah.
Irene says, I think I just skipped Crone altogether. Well, they have a lot to teach us. And talking again, too, about Crone, another thing from this weekend, because I was helping wash dishes with those were, you go into the restaurant, you put them in, you close the lid, and they hit heat, steams, and washes. I was telling the woman, when I was a young girl, 14, helping my mom at night, the dishwasher, her nickname was Bipper. She was this short, she was like a short black grandma. My grandma was short and plump and round and had the cheeks and, the laughter. And her nickname was Bipper. And Bipper had the exact same thing. She was older. And so for me, it's just like, again, all the different ages, the connecting with, again, like with Nancy, if I can go off a little bit here, talking about earlier with us not feeling safe to go home. One of the things that I was talking about to a few of the women or people at the workshop this weekend was, again, my ancestors, those who were absolutely cruel in this lifetime, and kind of me wanting to cower away from that culture of mine because of that's all I could understand as I got older of that culture.
Mm-hmm.
And they looked at me and said, well, they need healing too. And they talked about at one point ancestral altars and how important it is for us to honor not only the ones that were good for us, that that provided for us, but to also help heal the others that are on the other side that may still need that extra help or understanding. And yeah.
Well, see, that's why we want to do the work and heal that pain, that ancestral pain, so that we're not taking it forward. So that
Mm-hmm. Second
it's not going
generation.
forward. Another generation, and that's what happens. Unfortunately, um, yeah.
Let's see. And as Tarot D says, if you believe in past lives, even though you might see yourself as a maiden, you may also be touching into your crone from a previous life. I think that's what people see when they say. That's very interesting. I like that, Miss Tarot D. I
Well,
like
I
that.
think when you get to your chronotum, you will know. And yeah, I guess some people see it as a negative thing. I don't. I love being a crone. I don't care what anybody thinks.
I
I do
tell
what
you
I
what.
want. I tell you what. I tell you what. And the thing about it is that, you know, when you live um, 7 or 8 decades in this lifetime, you've learned stuff along the way,
Hmm.
you know,
I
if you've paid attention.
was gonna say sometimes, but yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know. I had a baby at 38, and I started my change at 40, and I knew I couldn't be pregnant at 40, but doggone, I felt like it. And but if I had met my husband when we were 20 somethings instead of 30 somethings, we would have had 8 children. I know we would have. I
Mm.
just, being an only child, I just absolutely loved that part of my life when I felt like that was my that was my empress. That was my time of being the empress. You know, but
Miss
no,
Tarot
not
D.
crown. well, we should have a crown because look at what we've done, you know.
Miss Tarot, this people see it as a negative because of our
Hmm.
current culture, where we no longer value our elders and treat them like burdens.
That's right. You know, when I visited China, elderly people there are revered, and also they are in Japan too. You know, their culture is different, and they also, especially, well, I don't know, I'm sure the Japanese
Yeah.
cherish their children, but the Chinese really do because they're not supposed to have more than two. Really, they like it to be just one because there's so many. But the people that are out in the kind of the boonies and are farmers, they can have more than two because they need the family to work the fields.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Jack said many indigenous tribes recognize the wisdom of the Crones. Yes, they did. It was very
Mhm.
matriarchal. It's the
Yeah.
patriarchy that needs to take a hike.
Hmm.
So let's see. All righty. Some
Yeah.
chat, and then I think we're all caught up. Miss Nancy, did you want to open the floor for a few readings? How do you feel?
Yeah, I'm good. I was still looking for that. I'm still looking. I don't know what my Amazon driver is doing because I tell you what, this is absolutely ridiculous. He is delivered everywhere around me, but here I'm 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 mad and I'm not going to take it anymore. No, I'm ready. I've got things to
She's
read.
not
What I
going to
was going to
take
do is I
it.
was going to do some inner child readings. If anybody would like an inner child reading, and I don't know, what Heather's going to do,
Well,
but
I can do messages from the from Crone Wisdom.
mhm.
So
Well,
we can do that.
talking about China and the men. When I was over in China with my daughter, and this was way back in the early 2000s, um, we were in Beijing, and there was this huge screen up,
Hi, Miss Carol.
and there were all these women, and I said, what in the world is going on? What is that? And Robin said, oh, they're talking about how wonderful it is to be a female. They've put the females down for so long that there are too many men and not enough women.
Yeah.
So they're wanting people to want to have girls because there aren't enough girls to go around.
Oh my goodness, the Chinese used to kill their fire horse children, especially the females, up until not too long ago. That's awful. Yep, no
Oh,
men, no
I'm the
kids,
next
then so
stop. So
great.
I am gonna leave for a minute. And
Okay.
Heather, you just say something fascinating and I'll be right back.
Something fascinating. Well, I went ahead and ordered my Yule deck from Seasons of the Witch, and they came yesterday. So I have those I can pull from today. It's also Indigenous Peoples Month. And so, to honor that past life, possible heritage of myself and the peoples, I have my Deeds of the Sacred Feminine with me as well. I did bring my Hush Tarot. I haven't used that in a while. And so that's the cards I'm going to use. I also have, a couple of other decks in case I'm drawn to that. And I'm excited because this coming week I will be getting a black. It's called. So if people know the True Black or tarot deck on Etsy, there was one that was similar. Those things go for like I think like $80 to $100. But Crafterian, I believe is the name of the company, is starting to create tarot and oracle decks, and these are not knockoffs. These are actually created by somebody else, not a stolen it's not stolen artwork from another deck, reproduction. And they have their own version of a black tarot, true black tarot. So I order that. I'm very excited for that to come in. And then December 1st I have a very cool deck coming in. I'm just going to wait till it gets here to be able to show y'all. It's kind of like my birthday gift. It was quite expensive, but it's absolutely beautiful. It's going to take me a little bit to get used to because it's not, they interchanged cups and stuff to chalices and everything else, but absolutely gorgeous deck. I'm excited to be able to do that for readings. And let's see, what did Roman share with us? I remember as a child going over to an elderly neighbor's house, and several kids in the neighborhood would gather on the front porch to listen to their fascinating stories. We were in awe. That's beautiful. And during this weekend, Roman, you just reminded me one of the because I was learning about charts, and they do theirs differently than traditional Western. Um, they don't do the real sky or anything, but there's something called like a whole sign chart for right now. And we were looking at people, and Roman, they had us take a look at Frida Kahlo's chart. And boy, right there in the chart, it shows all the pain, the suffering, the illness connected to the body and everything. But yet, in the chart, they were showing where you could see the creativity, the beauty, in her work and everything. So it was very interesting to get a look at uh, Frida Kahlo's chart, natal chart. So if anybody wants readings, go ahead. You can go ahead and put me in all caps. That way I can start taking a list. And I'm going to do a quick sip here. Yes, it is nice to have stories passed down from generations. And it wasn't until I was older that I found out that I had aunts and uncles that were in vaudeville, and they would travel and perform. And one of the things I love doing, in my life is being on stage in high school, being part of musicals and doing karaoke, and anything with performing ever since a child, being in chorus and being in band and, all of that. And you see how that reflects, how you get some of that from your ancestors. And apparently I even had an aunt that danced for Al Capone, or was a dancer at one of Al Capone's, nightclubs in Chicago. I mean, it's just amazing how, the stories that, um, vibe with our histories that we find out over time. And let's see, what did Roman just share? In the Middle East, they wanted us to teach them prenatal diagnoses techniques in order to weed out the female from the male fetuses in order to populate their armies. Oh my God. That's disgusting.
Yeah.
That is just,
I turned on the porch light. This Amazon guy, I don't know. Um, I've never had a delivery like this before. It
well,
was
it
supposed
is
to be
the
here at two.
eldest.
It was supposed to be here at 2:30. Isn't that crazy? But
Well, it's
anyway,
only 20 minutes.
You were talking about Al Capone.
Yeah, I had Aunt
My
Nancy on.
father was living in an apartment in Ohio. I think it was in Dayton, and the FBI or somebody showed up and took over his apartment because John Dillinger was supposed to be going to a movie with his girlfriend, and there was a movie theater across the street, and they were staked out there so that they could try and capture him.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So, alrighty, let's see. Looking for any requests for readings. We do have Jax, of course.
All right.
Happy as always. So Nancy's going to be doing readings from the inner, or connected to the inner child, and I'll be looking at what wisdom that we can receive from the crone. And there's Jackie. She goes, "Go figure." Oh, Jax, I'm just so blessed to have had you come into my chat. You absolutely brighten it up. I adore your spunk and your personality, my dear. I really do. So Jack. Well, Jack should get the first reading from my Yule tide. I was going to wait until December, but it's like, no, use me now, use me now. So already we got Irene as well. I like to sparkle.
Okay. Let us see. Let us see.
How about you, Roman? I don't know how. Have we ever read for Roman? I don't even know if we have.
I
Let
don't
me
know.
see. Selena, if you're still there, my dear, would you like a reading? She's probably hard away at work or doing her homework.
Okay.
Jackie Jan, too. I've got her. I have Jax, Jackie, and Irene. So, Jack's message from the Crone. Moira, of course. Of course, Moira. Well, you're on it, Jax. Woohoo.
It was delivered. So I'm going to do my reading. And then I am going to find this puppy. I tell you what.
Gimme, gimme, gimme. She says.
Okay. Let me see. I need one more card here. Okay, that's interesting. All right, we're reading for Jax.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Jax, I got 4 cards for you. And the first one, this is for your inner child work. It says, go inward. It's time to connect with your inner child. So this card came up. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. Apparently, Spirit is saying that you do have some inner child work that needs to be done. Now, the interesting thing about this is the next 2 cards that came out for you both say surrender.
Oh, wow.
And, surrendering, you have to feel a huge amount of trust to surrender, to allow your guard down, to open yourself and, here I am, let's do the work. And the final card that came out, and I love this for you because, I think it goes right along with going inward and the act of surrendering. What you need to ask yourself is, what does your soul say?
Mm.
Listen to Spirit, and when you do this, have a certain ritual that you set up, and ask your angels and guides to surround you with protection as you do this, and then listen, and write down your feelings, and also pay attention to your dreams, because that has a huge part of it too. These messages come in many different ways, and that's what I have for you, Jax.
And she's like, hot diggity dog. And to remember to have fun. I forget that part.
Okay.
Yes. And just really quick. Oh, Kat just celebrated her granddaughter. So congratulations, Kat. Enjoy.
I don't know. Being a grandma is very, very special. Yeah. And I will be right back.
Okay. And Jax also says, yes, I ask Spirit each day, help us. Can I serve my highest good? Or, girl, orcas. We have to talk after the show. We learned something yesterday about the orcas and up here. This is amazing. This is almost kind of like a sign. This is that's like serendipity, or that's serendipity. Things coming. Yeah. So, Jax, for you from the Crone, from my new deck, the Yule Oracle, you got snow. And living in Florida, I know you don't get snow, but you got snow. And it says here, there is beauty in the divine that settles on thy flesh, a magical enchantment bestowed in purity. So even though you don't get to have the snow, um, there physically on your skin to visualize it. Or if you've been in a, or you have experienced snow in the past, you dream of seeing snow. Oh, that's very cool. So they're connecting with the purity of snow. Um, the crone reminds us that despite, our lived experiences, our lived traumas, our lived joys, as we get older. Um, kind of think of those experiences falling on us. It's that sense of purity, things that to me kind of connects to with the inner child because of the purity, the innocence. It reminds us that no matter what age, we can tap into that. There's always going to be something pure and beautiful, that we can find within ourselves and within our life experiences. And from your seeds from the sacred feminine, I got smile at a stranger. Here, let me take this down really quick. So you got smile at a stranger. So this is, you know, going out and, you know, that beautiful purity, that white light, that pureness of spirit, that pureness of heart, of compassion. Let that shine. Share that smile with others. Let that be like snow softly falling on their skin. Like of a blessing. The smiling at a stranger is like a blessing, a sprinkling of that white, that purity. And when it comes to your tarot cards, you got the chariot. So with the crone moving forward. So no matter again at what age, sometimes we think of crone energy where we slow down. And we can slow down, we can go in and reflect, but know that just because we're at a certain age or we're at a certain stage, like it doesn't necessarily matter the physical age, but what stage are we currently energetically in? And so that crone wisdom reminds us that, we may have all this knowledge, we may have come this far, but there's always more ways to move forward. And see how in this deck how the horse that she's riding on is kind of broken and things are kind of falling apart below. It doesn't matter. We still have the power. We're still in control. We're still flying that freak flag, girl. And moving forward. Your underlying energy is the Justice card. So again, what does this have to do with Crone energy? This is you tapping into that wisdom and knowing that currently what's going on within your life, there will be justice, there will be karma. And with the Crone, tapping into the karma to heal, also our ancestors. With the chariot, we're taking control of our own lives. We're taking control of the reins, so to speak. And this one here, even when we feel broken or when we feel like our horse is broken, we have no way of moving forward. That crone energy, that wisdom reminds us, look how far you've come already. And there's still things to do. And the justice card is also about balance as well, not just legal balance, justice for legal matters and stuff, but also just maintaining that balance, keeping that stride, like that Matthew Wilder song, "Don't break my stride." Just keep, nothing can hold me down. You keep moving forward. So that's what I have for you, my dear. And let's see, the orcas were around a castle on an island. They were trying to tell me something. Ooh, that's a dream that Jax had about orcas. And we learned about some things about the orcas. Roman, I would share that right now, but I have to sit down and try to remember. There's a woman named Dakota that was sharing the story about the one whale from SeaWorld. And then, oh, okay, I'm just going to share this really quick. So the orcas, and Nancy, I know you love whales and you have a whale bone ear.
Oh, I do. I do.
Um, and one of the stories that she shared with us, I think was just giving us all shivers, was that there were certain indigenous artifacts that were being repatriated to um, the museums or to the indigenous people up here in the Pacific Northwest. And these items, a lot of them included things that were from the orcas, from the whales, because the orcas were supposed to represent the spirits of their ancestors, I believe, if I remember correctly. But what the thing is with the story is is that while this ship was heading towards up in the water towards where they were going to, I can't remember the name of the port, but in the process, a whole pod, and I'm even getting chills already, a whole pod appeared out of nowhere, and they surrounded and swam with this boat carrying the remnants of their ancestors, the orcas. They could sense the bones. They could sense their yeah. They could sense their fellow orcas, their people in that boat, and it was like they were being given a spiritual and solemn, you know, escort to the museum where they were finally going to be laid to rest. So yeah, oh my goodness. So yeah, that was the main story that gave us all chills. Is that these orcas could sense that their relatives, their species, were on this boat, and out of nowhere they just came and they swam with the boat and sailed and swam with their ancestors back home as they brought them back home. So yeah. Boom. Oh my goodness, I get chills. So yeah, me too, chills. And yes, they are giving back 75 different indigenous artifacts back to Canadian natives.
Oh.
So, and Megas said, beautiful readings and wisdom, Heather and Nancy. I know one of the stories she was talking about was Tillicum. Tillicum did not make it in time. They were trying to create a a place for Tillicum. You know, he couldn't be set out into the wild, but they were going to create a space for him so he could be on the outside, still connected to the ocean, but safely within it. But he passed before they could get him there. But there was something to do with him and or relics of that contained orca bones and things that they swam with their ancestors back to their base. So yeah, that was amazing. And Roman said, strange whale and purpose behavior lately in the news related to their sophisticated intelligence. Yes, they know what's going on and what we're doing. Our militaries all over the world are doing to the oceans, not to mention the oil companies and stuff. So I digress. So hello, Mona Lee. Hello, my dear. Um, she goes, I caught the last show. Yay. Yes. So alrighty, that was for Jax, and Jackie is up next.
Okay, Jackie is next. Okay.
And how are you doing, Nancy?
Oh, I'm good. I'm good.
We're all happy to have Miss Nancy back, but we want to make sure she doesn't get overworked. Overstimulated or drained. Catalina Island. Oh my God. Yeah. Ah, us humans, I swear, we're like parasites on this planet. Yeah. Whoop. I like that. Whoop. Almost kind of like a Bigfoot call here. Whoop, whoop.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Jackie, I have some interesting cards for you. I'm trying to see how we're going to do this. I guess I will just do it in the order they came out. Okay. The first one is the card. It says Run Wild. And there's this horse that has butterfly wings. And it says, let your inner child run forth. Okay. Kind of like give her free rein, just let her get out there. The second card has animals in it and a beautiful tree, and it's called Soul Retrieval. And the way I look at this is when, when you were working with the inner child and doing the work, um, you are discovering part of your soul that maybe is, that you did a part that you didn't realize that you had, because it's in there, and you got to let it out, because the next card is freedom. And I think that all of this work, gives you a certain amount of freedom and puts you in control of what you did not have control of when you were younger. And the final card, with this coming out, for what we're talking about, I absolutely love this for you, Jackie. It is fall in love with your own story.
Wow.
And
I love that.
our life is a story. It's our story. And there are good things and there are bad things, but it's our story, and we have to own it. And then once you've owned it, fall in love with it. Love every part of it, because all of this made you who you are. And that's what I have for you, Jackie.
Ooh, I love that. And Jackie, the first card I have for you is even giving me chills because it has to connect with Nancy, and it also connected with what Roman was saying about him and the boys would go, or the children in the neighborhood would go sit and talk to the elders and listen to the elders tell their stories. So, Jackie, you got telling stories, and there are the children sitting with their elder listening to their stories. They're being read a story. I could not believe that. This is just amazing. And it says here, what words so tender can be spoken so bravely unless they are true from the truest of words? So again, with the Crone, and with me, I'm going to look at this a little different. Like I know, um, I mean, I've done a lot of readings for you, and I know that this could represent possibly you being there to be the one to give the readings to the children, the stories. But to me, it's looking at the Crone as saying, watching what we tell ourselves, watch what we are telling our inner child. Um, it's and it's allowing our inner child to tell us our story, if that makes sense. To me, this is beautiful. It's both sharing the stories of, well, this is where I'm at now, you know, look what we have done. And then, listen to what the child will tell you in their story of where they see where you have come. So this is like you and your inner child having this beautiful conversation, and acknowledging the wisdom that you have within yourself to remember to be able to tell your inner child the story, and the wisdom to tell yourself. It's like they're telling you, listen, and not to be afraid of the wisdom that you have gained from your years on this earth. And it's also acknowledging that they can come to you for you to share your stories to those in your generation and to your children or grandchildren. And when it says here, brave stories, being open and honest to tell the stories of, even if it might hurt, just showing that there's bravery in sharing our wisdom, especially if it comes from places of hurt. Again, you can't have the strife without the love, and vice versa. And again, next to telling stories, your sacred feminine seed card is listen to the song of the birds. So again, it's listening to the songs, they tell stories, listening to the songs of the birds. This maybe being a story that you can share with the younger generation in your life, but it's also a message to acknowledging the wisdom of the animals that you receive, that you can take within your Crone, because again, Crone is the time to go within and to reflect. So it's being mindful of the stories, that we tell ourselves, listening to the songs of the birds. And for the Crone, you can't get a better card than this. You got the Hermit card, and it's an owl in this deck. And so this is about going in, noticing the inner workings of who we are, taking what we've learned again and looking at the wisdom of it. The crone is about our wisdom. This is the owl. You can't get more wisdom than that. But the underlying energy is the Five of Pentacles. So this energy feels like you may be feeling isolated. You may feel like you know, you're drowning in debt, or you don't feel safe, or you don't feel secure, um, very deeply in with those emotions, but knowing that that knowledge, that hermit, that wisdom can be what helps you to the surface. That alone time, that isolation is a good time to remind us to tell, our own stories, to tell us ourselves the right stories, and to listen to the song of the birds. So that's what I have for you, Jackie. I mean, yes, Jackie. Oh, I was looking at one name on my list and I'm like, oh no, did I just say the wrong name? So yes, that's what I have for you. Yes, and Jack has joined us. Hobo Hideaway, Synchronicities. I know it. That makes sense. Awesome. And birds come around my house all the time during the day. I listen to them. So yes, there we go. Beautiful. And you okay, Nancy? We got one more
Uh-huh.
reading. Okay. And
Okay.
Moira is our last read
Okay.
of the show. She says, I'm here.
Okay. Maura, I love the cards that came out for you. The first card that has come out is the card. It says "Be still," and it shows the ocean and a lot of water. And there's some water that's breaking over the rocks. And it says, "Cultivate a space of stillness and silence to just be." And I think in this healing process, uh, it's a good thing to be still and to connect with yourself, and, talk to yourself, talk to your inner child, you know, um, and listen to your higher self.
Nancy,
Mm-hmm.
I hate to interrupt, but I made a mistake. We're reading from Moira now, but we need to do Irene. So
Oh,
I'm
okay.
sorry, Irene. I accidentally crossed out Irene's name, thinking we
Oh,
already
okay.
read her. So I
Okay.
apologize.
Okay. Um, let's see. Uh, so what I like is it says cultivate space of stillness and silence to just be, to just be yourself, to embrace who you are, every part of you. And the second card that came out is the card of ancestors. And so this to me indicates that there might be some ancestral healing that needs to be done as well. And some of this inner child pain may have to do with your ancestors. And it's interesting because this has got water in it too. When you look at this, both of these have water, which is emotion. And the moon is out. There's like unknown quantities, and you just have to open yourself up. Ask your guides to help you connect with your ancestors and listen. Two cards came out from the next deck. The card of trusting, we're talking about this is, you know, a great amount of trust to do this. And the second card that came out is the card of healing. And there's water in this card as well. The moon and stars. I love that. Looks like this drop of water is dropping down on the sea. And the final card, I think this is very interesting. The final card for you, Moira, is Sacred Mirrors. And when you think about it, and we talked about the brain, and all the different things that are stored up there, all the memories and everything. It's almost like when you're in a like when you go to the carnival and there's like a house of mirrors, and there are all these different mirrors that you come upon, and you see yourself, and some of them are distorted. You look fat or tall or real thin, or just absolutely ridiculous. um well, there are sacred mirrors that are waiting for you to and when I think about this, and I think about sacred mirrors, um they're letting you see where you are and who you are, but also all of your potential, everything that's ahead, all of the things that will be resolved when you do this work. um and it's a sacred process. um and I don't know, I like the term, the mirrors of your soul. You might take that and use that as a writing prompt, and just write at the top of the page, mirrors of my soul, and then just write. Don't pay attention to what you're writing, and see what comes out. And that may be the beginning of your journey. That's what I have for you.
Sorry. And again, my apologies for the mix up. Moira says, thanks, Nancy. Good advice for the dark winter months. I'm very Pisces. Lots of water in my chart, and today was my mom's birthday, and I have her photo out on my desk today.
Oh,
Oh, Moira. Well, happy
oh, that's
birthday to your
beautiful.
mom.
Yeah.
Yes. And Roman said, trust, surrender, killing it, sacred mirrors and sacred space.
Yeah.
Yes. So, Moira, the writing on this card is very cryptic to me. I had to open up the book, but I'm going to read it, and I'll see what you take from it. Um, it begins with, take with thy the dearest of moments. So when we look at the crone, that is us looking back on our lives, or even within the last year, and taking those dearest of moments with us into the dark months, into our older years, or even to this older energy, the old part energy of the year. And then it says, release for me for their ton and nourish me with light. Now, I'm not quite sure release me for their ton means. This may resonate with you, but it says here, nourish me with light. You got the cold moon, and there she is with her beautiful wolf. And so we are coming, and so the cold moon is going to be the full moon in December. And the key words that go with this card is about releasing, purging, acknowledging your resourcefulness, and nurturing. So as we go into this time of year where we're moving into the energy of the Earth's crone phase, um, finding ways of being resourceful. We have that wisdom that we can tap into, that we can rely on, and releasing and purging what no longer serves us. So when it says here, release for me their ton, this could very well be them releasing all the negative things that we may have said to ourselves, or things that have been said to us, or that we hear that are like okay, that are a violation of our spirit, of our sovereignty, of our empowerment and decency, human. So it's all about taking that toxic language, that tongue speaking, and purging it, and only taking again those dearest of moments, and lining you know the light to nourish those areas where we feel withdrawn. We go into introspection, or we feel things to our bones. That cold moon. And it says here that also in the book that it says it's shining on your spread to guide you to see how many resources you have. So it's about looking in unexpected places or things that you may haven't noticed. This could be because of the ton work, the spell work, the talk, the social media, the way people use words. People do spell work day in and day out and don't even realize. So the words they choose, the energy they put behind it. So it says here that you may need a change of perspective, to be focused on you could be focused on what's wrong rather than seeing the additional pathways to success. So moving in, tapping into that crone energy, that wisdom, listening to your bones, listening to, um, you know, um, that wolf, letting that wolf guide you onto those pathways, and just taking those moments to carry with you. And your sacred feminine wisdom card I got is honor your body. So in this process, making sure that you honor your body, making sure you get enough sleep, you get enough, you eat properly, get enough water, and again, releasing their time, disengaging from social media, finding places of peace where you can meditate and to be able to listen to your heartbeat, listen to what your body is saying, connecting again with, I keep hearing, connecting with your bones. What do your bones represent to you? Your connection to your ancestors, to your life experiences. And your tarot cards is the top one is that Queen of Pentacles. So again, you are that nurturing. Make sure that you nurture not just others and give to others, but make sure you nurture yourself. And with your body, pentacles are body as well. So paying attention to your health, paying attention to your, making sure you feel safe, you're secure, finances. And the underlying card of the energy is the Six of Cups, which is nostalgia. So tapping into those moments of, it's interesting how Nancy's readings, I'm getting things, she gets some things that are very crone, and I'm getting things that are also very inner child. So I'm noticing a lot of pairing back and forth. So in your reading, acknowledging the bride of the earth, being of the earth, and to get you through those cold months and maybe that cold talk and those negative energies, you nourish your body with not just with the healthy things, but with nostalgia as well, and tapping into that. And that's what I have for you, my dear. Thank you for letting us read
I
for
love
you.
that, Heather. Yeah, I love that. Can't pour from an empty cup. Isn't that the truth?
Yep. All righty. So our last read is Irene. So again,
Okay.
and Moira says here, thanks, other interesting cards and suggestions. These cards work well with Nancy's message. Six of Cups is my favorite tarot card. Yeah,
Oh,
brings back good
yeah.
memories, nostalgia. Yes. All righty, and you're welcome. So Irene.
Okay, Irene, I have 4 cards for you. The first one says, do what you need to do. It may be difficult, but now is the time. And I feel like your angels are supporting you. Your guardian angel. I Now this is what I believe. I have seen this, okay, in my meditations. Um, I believe that your guardian angel is with you in the womb. And, those that don't make it to birth, there's a reason for that. And the guardian angel takes them home. But your guardian angel has been with you and is watching over you. Do what you need to do. It may be difficult, but now is the time. So it's the time for you to do this work. And the second card that came out, I absolutely love this. It is the card, it says soul. And I want you to look at this. Her eyes are closed, and her hands are like this. And there's a couple of ways to interpret this. Um, that can be your inner child memories, and those memories are inside of you. But after you do the work, I see this as all these memories, or you just go like this, and it's like confetti. All the memories are just, like in childlike wonder, you have done it, you know. And there's this beautiful confetti that is just swirling around you of all these memories. Um, the next card is the card of compassion. And when you're doing this work, remember to be very compassionate with yourself. You know, you're doing something that's not easy, and you need to cut yourself some slack. I mean, there'll be setbacks, but I love this. This lotus has a heart in the very center of it, and just remember to have a compassionate heart. And because that's what it takes. We can show compassion to other people. I think it's very, very important. But it's I think it's super important to be compassionate with ourselves. To really, really take care of ourselves and to cut ourselves some slack. You know, don't be so hard. And the final card is to find your sacred flow.
Mm.
And I think, that is like part of this, you know, that through the work that you do, there will be this sacred flow that like cleanses you and rejuvenates you and fills your cup. So that's what I have for you, Irene.
And Irene said, I said like confetti at the same time you did, Nancy. Synchronistic. So, yeah,
Mm,
that's beautiful. And Jax is right. If your compassion does not include yourself, then it is incomplete.
that's right. That's right.
Girl, you gotta do your deck. So Irene, again, some very interesting verbiage on these cards, but you got the Yule log for your card, and it says here, insert me with a bleeding thought, which is interesting, a sacred creation, birth from thy. I am God, I am goddess, I am creation and the creator. And that's what the saying on the card is. And it says here, insert me with a bleeding thought. And for me, bleeding doesn't necessarily mean, blood, but just thoughts coming through. But with the so I'm just going to share with the Yule log for people who may not, and this may. So the Yule logs are burned for 12 days and represent the rising sun and the birth of a new sun god. The Yule logs are decorated with all kinds of Christmas cheer, and when it is lit, each member of your household gets to take a turn tossing in anything you like to release from the year. So each person gets to set an intention. It represents the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. So your crone is saying that this is the time to acknowledge death and rebirth. And I know this is a very deep and painful wound for you concept that we talk a lot about in your cards with the loss of your daughter. But again, this is that beautiful time of year to take that wisdom to connect with the God and the goddess energy, however you see them, and to channel, allow that goddess energy to channel into you to help heal. It's the, let's see here, it says the channel of power, no, the channel the power of the God by invoking action, courage, determination. Both energies, male and female, are required to be successful in your dreams, goals, and manifestations. Yule logs remind you that what you wish for will take more than one approach. So it says bleeding of thought. It's pouring into that log, everything it is that you want to release, that you want to bleed, you want to birth out, you want to give. And when you light that in honor of the Lord and the Lady in the fire, and you put those things in there, know that the smoke, the cleansing is being released, and and the healing, is taking place. Your seeds from the sacred feminine is take a warm bath. And warm baths are awesome because it's like tapping into, because it doesn't matter what stage of life or energy you are in. um, we are still, our bodies are still water. We are feminine. We are connected to our intuition, and that warm bath, we can imagine like being in like the womb, that warm water, allowing that to hold us, to cradle us, and to allow us like the Yule log. So for me, I'm looking at this now, and the Yule log is very much also very masculine, and then you have the water, which is very feminine. So it's both double energy of giving to the God, the goddess, great spirit of your pain and healing, and to be able to tap into that crone energy and being able to release that, letting things die that no longer serves you in time for rebirth. And your two tarot cards are the Page of Wands. So this is about, and here, what do we have? We have a child. So again, reflecting in the cards here as well, this is the child who uses the imagination. She created this friend of hers out of sticks, out of, a piece of statue, and she's holding his hand, and that's her friend. She's on this adventure, so it's about tapping into that creativity, that motivation, that inspiration to move forward, do something fun, tapping into that inner child. Your inner crone wants you to embrace also that inner child as well, because like before, she's got stories to tell you, and you have dreams and stuff you want to share with her, and together you both are writing this beautiful story. And your underlying energy is the Three of Cups. So the Cups card, which represents water, and it ended up right underneath here, take a warm bath. So that Three of Cups is again about, finding that connection, that communion. A lot of this deck has to do with nature. So that Three of Cups, celebrating out in nature. You have the hare, you have the goats. You're it's like the merry-go-round kind of thing. You're again connecting to that inner child, that playfulness, those emotions, and knowing that even at the crone stage, you can still tap into that deep feminine energy, just because our bodies are different now, and they may not be producing, menstrual blood, or, for some of us women during menopause, we get dry. So again, it still shows that we are very watery beings, that we need to make sure that we are taking good care of our bodies, we're drinking enough water. And something I would love to share with everybody that I learned from this weekend, in connecting with our bodies, no matter what age we are, is how oils are so very important, to make sure that our bodies are oiled, that they help open the pores. And when we start opening the pores, we connect more to the electromagnetic energies of everything in nature around us, the plants, the trees, the fae, and that we nourish our bodies daily with some type of sustaining oil like sesame seed, coconut. For people who, are not, who don't practice vegetarianism, they were also recommending finding different fats to rub, like tallow, to rub on our bodies head to toe, and doing that on a daily practice to honor our bodies, to open up our pores and help our energies connect with the natural energies around us. So I thought that was something beautiful as well. So taking a warm bath may not necessarily always be with water. It may be bathing ourselves with beautiful oils, or bathing ourselves in a beautiful light, or just even bathing ourselves with beautiful words to ourselves, or listening to music and basking in, in that as well. So that's what I have. Thank you.
Yeah.
Like I said, I just took so much from that workshop this weekend. So
Yeah.
little
Oh,
bits and pieces.
we've got another read.
Oh, we do?
I asked Beth if she wanted a reading.
Oh, is Beth here?
Uh-huh. And she said she did. So I thought that'd be okay with you, right?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm just making sure that your energy is good. But yeah,
Oh yeah, yeah,
I love reading for Beth.
yes.
And Irene says tallow is great for the skin. Hard to be allergic to it. So, um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, because it's natural. Because they said, they understand that, a lot of us don't want to, incorporate animals into our. But she says we are of the animals. The animals are of us. We're all a part of this earth, and that's how we give and take. She goes, we take
Mm-hmm.
from the plants, and we take from the animals. So it's a beautiful exchange of energy, being able to, you know, take the gifts that each other
Yeah.
offers. So,
I was just going to tell Beth that maybe she can watch the beginning of this this live, so that she kind of knows what we're doing. I presented the sacred feminine and your inner child, and how the sacred feminine can help
mm,
heal your inner child.
a minute.
So that's where I'm coming from with the readings, Beth. Um, I have 5 cards for you because 2 came out of one deck. So when that happens, I honor them both because I just feel like I'm supposed to. Um, the first card that came out for healing your inner child is to be present and find clarity in the moment. And, this process, I mean, you have to be present. You have to be committed to do it. You have to see, like, when I look at this, that it's the moon, but there's also an eye and there's angel wings, and it almost looks like a fish. But you have to kind of, when you start this process and you meditate about it and you quiet yourself and you think about it, you see with your soul's eye, you know, and that's what starts the journey. And you have to trust yourself, and you have to trust um, your guides and spirit as you go on this journey. And I mean, this is almost like she's walking a tightrope. Okay. I mean, your balance may be affected because you're discovering things in your inner child that need to be healed, things that maybe you had forgotten about, or are buried deeply, but that they need to come out so that this little girl inside you can be whole. And you need to reconnect, with your inner child, and reflect, as these things come to light. Think about what's coming forward, and think about yourself as a child and how you felt, and the good things, and then some of the things that maybe you've buried that happened that hurt you. I mean, you know little things can be important. It doesn't have to be this huge hurt. It can be a little hurt that you're carrying that you need to let go of. You may not even be aware of it. And the final card that comes out, to me, is kind of like the bow that ties it all together. It's your past supports your future. And you are who you are because of your past. Because of what happened and if horrible things happened, they have made you stronger. You have had to deal with things that a lot of people have not. And it's a heavy burden, you know but if you're strong enough, to walk the walk and talk the talk, and embrace this work and see it through, then there's this little girl inside you that's going to be doing cartwheels, that's going to be filled with such joy and such delight, and such overwhelming unconditional love. And that's the whole point of the process. And that's what I have for you, Beth.
And right off the bat, she said, "Ooh, love that." And then Beth also said, "I've been thinking about one of my guardian angels who I was privileged to meet as an earth angel. She
Ooh.
must be tapping me on the shoulder. And she said, "So true, Nancy. Yes, I am who I am from past challenges." And Beth, this is perfect. This is going to go right into your reading. I just
All
love
right.
Nancy and I are getting,
I love
so
that. I love that.
so Beth, my Yule came in, the Seasons of the Witch for Yule, and the card that you got is Perseverance.
Mm.
And it says here on the card, "Stay in thy power, dear child, for thy lonely is never alone. When the world is dreadful upon thy, turn to the spirits within thy." So for me, I talked about the energy of the crone, um, in the season of this crone that we are in, and how we all together move through this crone season, and how we can honor and embrace her no matter what stage of life we're in, by acknowledging the crone in this in fall and going into winter, and what lessons or messages she has for us on that. And in here it says the keywords are loneliness, determination, and principles. And so, what she writes about for this card is basically the fact of having to deal with struggles, betrayals, loss, things that feel like they're overwhelming obstacles right now. And with this card here, with it feeling like Red Riding Hood, feeling like you're being followed, like you're to the point where you're dropping your apples and you got to pick them up. Um, and it's acknowledging that this is that time of season. What you can do is to start, even though you feel lonely. This is a time where we can go within and to make ourselves stronger, because it says here, the struggles you're facing now are meant to make you stronger. Um, Consider this if you cannot handle obstacles where you are. So the crone is acknowledging, see how far you have come through. Look at all the obstacles that you come through with life. And when you add them up and you see how strong you've been that you got, that it got you through all of those, that your perseverance got you through all those, your resiliency, your adaptability. Look how far, that is crone wisdom. That is tapping into that time of year. It's going us and making us go into this reflection of seeing just how much we can take without breaking. It's like being the willow, the willows can bend, and taking, that wisdom. And it says here, you are being tested now to see how well you manage adversity. Remember that strength is not limited and you have the power to overcome your situation. When the dust settles, you will be wiser, like the crone, and ready to rise to a new level of success. So for you, it's always okay. Here's another thing that I've overcome in my book. It's like looking at the journal and saying, yes, this is where I've come. I can do this. Now, the card from your Seeds from the Sacred Feminine, which is perfect for this time of year to go with the crone going within, is Quest for a New Vision. So during this winter months, going into deep meditations, going within yourself, tapping into that crone energy, and sitting still with that, and waiting for a new vision, like a vision quest, going within and seeing what the earth, what your guides, what spirit, has to say, to show you, maybe to give you a light, to show you the way, to help you quest for something. Okay, what can I do now? What can I use to handle these struggles? Or what can I, apply everything that I've learned from this perseverance into a new quest? It's like, I'm feeling like with those two cards is that with everything, with all the shit, excuse my language, all the shit that's going on in this world right now, a lot of us are feeling, well, how can I make a difference? How can I, still shine? How can I still grow and develop on my own? And this is making us quest for a new vision, finding ways where we can channel those obstacles, that energy, that perseverance we have, and be able to pour that into, or direct that into, a new vision of what we can do moving forward. And your tarot cards are beautiful. You got the Ace of Cups, and that bird is singing a new song. The past is the past. She is sprouting out, waking up from the past, singing a brand new song. So the Ace of Cups new emotional insight, intuition, creativity. Dive into that, girl. And the bottom one, these cards are very humorous. So you got the Two of Pentacles. So those little birds pull that little plug out of that grenade and they're waiting to see what happens. So the Two of Pentacles is about juggling, balancing. So pulling out that plug and seeing what, boom, what am I going to balance? What can I juggle and see what comes to me? So I absolutely love that. So that's what I have for you, Beth. I hope that helps, my dear.
I love that.
Resonates, all that.
Heather just tied it up with a bow on top for you, Beth.
So let's see. Oh, okay. Oh, wow. Okay. I like that. Means I'm on the right track. And let's see what Jack said really quick. We are some of our experiences from this life and one's long past. Remember who you are. She's now talk about a sage and a crone right there. I mean,
yeah.
Exactly. And Beth said, perhaps I'm being followed by my past. Time to turn around and face the wolf and make that wolf your friend. These fairy tales, make us fear nature, make us fear the animals. They make us fear our own inner animalistic nature. And so, embrace that wolf, invite it, come run with me. Let like women who run with wolves, invite that wolf to run with you. And I have apples here for me to eat and to share with you. So kind of like turning that around a little bit. But yeah. Let's see, did I miss any other? And okay, here we go. Love those, Heather and Nancy.
A card that goes with that. I'm looking for it for Beth.
Thank you.
Let me see. Let me see. It's probably going to be at the bottom of the deck. That's what always happens.
Doesn't that always happen?
Yeah. Yeah. Hang in there, Beth. I'm looking for it.
Let's see. You have to make friends with your past because it simply is. Yeah. And sometimes it's hard. I keep them on a very long leash. Some of those, but yeah, the more we bring them around us, we run with them, we let, they don't scare us. They don't, take over us. We run with them. They're a part of us.
Oh, for goodness sake. It's crazy, looking for a card and going through a whole deck.
Looking for cards in all the wrong places.
Yeah, and I'm looking and I missed it. Honest to goodness, sometimes I wonder about myself.
Beth,
Did
I
I
had
pass
an
it
amazing
right
weekend.
by? I have really enjoyed this. Here it is. Okay. This is the Strength card from the Grimm Tarot.
Oh, Howling with the Wolves.
Yeah. Yeah. See, Beth, you'll be the alpha. Yeah.
And I was just shuffling and I pulled this card. It feels like for everybody. In all these rough times, just ask for guidance. Our ancestors are there. So.
Excuse me. Oh, I didn't get a nap today.
Well, we need to let Miss Nancy go. So I know. So Nancy, did you want to make your for people who come into chat? Did you want to let people know what you're going to be doing, channel wise and collaboration wise, moving forward?
Oh well, this time of the year, I try to slow down, but I have some commitments, and I will do some lives, but this is the time of year when I kind of slow down and go within and do the work. And I always look forward to autumn and winter because that's when I feel like a tree. All my leaves are gone and I'm going within and my roots are going deep and I'm discovering stuff about myself and my practice. So that's what I like to do. Now, tomorrow, I will be on Ginger Faye's channel and Roman is going to join us and we're going to do readings.
You mean this guy right here?
That guy right there, that very own guy.
I can feel it coming in.
And then Thursday, I'll be on with Ginger, and we're going to do. I'm really looking forward to this. We're going to do ancestral healing readings.
Mm.
So I think it's 7 p.m. on both of them, Beth, and they'll be on Ginger Faye's channel. I have it like a notice. Well, I'll put a notice up for both of them on my my page on my channel where you can post stuff what's going
I
on.
haven't heard from that girl in a long time.
Yeah.
I gotta see
Who?
what she's up to. Ginger.
Oh, Ginger.
Yeah, her and I haven't done something in a long time.
Yeah, she is she has just had a lot of work and she's had a lot going on. I mean, I don't know how she does it. I really don't.
Oh, I love that.
I get tired just listening to the stuff she does. Oh my goodness. But anyhow.
California Dreaming.
Mm.
Yes, and Beth says sounds good. So for me, I'll probably do pop-ups this week. I had an amazing weekend, and as I'm getting my notes together and getting my brain together from everything I had to absorb in 2 days.
Uh-huh. Oh, excuse
I'll be
me.
sharing that. We have a new moon coming up, so I will be doing new moon readings for that. And I don't have anyone joining me on Friday, so I don't know. I might have to reach out to a certain somebody. We'll see. I could use maybe a sidekick again this Friday. Let me know, Roman. So, but yeah, Nancy and I hope that everyone has a wonderful rest of your week. And we'll see you in one of the chats during the lives. And
Oh, thanks for putting that link in. Yeah.
oh, there we go. Nancy, Roman, Ginger. That's
and it's we're going to be doing readings of the prompts are shadow, love, and light.
all righty. So everybody have a great rest of your yes, and thank you. Yes, I will be back this coming Sunday with my poetry. I'm calling it
Oh,
Indigo
I'm so
Poetica.
excited. I'm so excited about that.
And when I
It's
get
about time, Heather.
well, I've been waiting for Karen to come back,
Yeah.
but when Karen comes back and I get some other guests to join me, like Miss Nancy at some point, it'll be the Mystic Poet Society.
I like that.
I got
I like
started
that.
on the
I
other
like that
channel.
name. I really like that.
But with me, if it's going to be me doing it, then it's going to be Indigo Poetica. So looking forward to that. Lots and lots of stuff's been coming up for me to write. So anywho, thank you everybody again for joining us. Nancy and I appreciate you so much. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.